What is up, everybody? Jester here, and today I'm back in Dune Awakening. And I know there's been a lot of controversy surrounding this game with inventory stuff coming up missing and all kinds of other stuff, and we are going to touch on that in the next video. But today I wanted to do something a little more on the positive side, because there are some real quality of life things in this game that I think are being really overlooked. One of which is box crafting and the circuit system that they've installed when it comes to your crafting benches and your refiners. Today I'm going to show you exactly how to use these things to your advantage, and even some advanced tips to where you can go from one box to a machine back to the same box without ever having to move anything whatsoever. We got a lot to talk about. Let's get into it. As many of you recent subscribers know, Funcom also produced Conan Exiles, and I'd been previously covering that. And one of the problems I always had in this game was the crafting. You always had to make sure that you had all the things you needed inside of your bench to then come over here to the right, and then you can say, oh, well, now I could craft this if I wanted to. Or you could look something up and say, oh, I need to go find this. And for me, what that created was kind of a bottleneck where, you know, in a bigger base, you had a ton of storage, and if you didn't know exactly where something was at, then it was a real pain to find. Well, luckily, Funcom learned some lessons here, and they put some real quality of life stuff in Dune Awakening. You see, in this title, all you have to do is go up to one of your fabricators. It doesn't matter which one. If the recipe is highlighted, you have all the materials somewhere inside a box in your base claim, and you can craft this item. You don't have to put anything in a bench, and it's such a big quality of life improvement. I wish more survival/crafting type games would take notes on this, because this is really a time saver. But if you're anything like me and you have the OCD that I do, you still want to be more organized, and that's where these circuit systems come in. Now, we're going to be dealing with more of the refiner side of this, but just to get started, just know that the one on the left here under the storage tab is going to be the input, and the one on the right is going to be the output. I'm going to be focusing on the three refiners today because I think that's where it actually has its most benefit, that being the ore refiner, the chemical refiner, and the spice refiner. To get started today, let's talk about the ore refineries. Now, I run two medium ore refiners here at the Rad Pad, which is my home. I highly recommend, if you're playing solo or in a guild, start working towards the large ore refinery. It is such a massive savings of raw ore. Aluminum, great example. Between my Thopter inventory and my personal backpack, here I can bring home about 150 ingots, give or take 145 to 150. At the guild hall, where we have a large ore refiner, that's like 240 ingots. It's just way more bang for your mining buck. It goes from 7 aluminum ore to 4. So definitely worth the cost. It's just not worth the cost for me to do this outside of the guild, because we have other goals right now, which we're going to touch on in future videos. The way I run this, though, is the refiner on the right. I run aluminum, steel, iron, and copper. That's all that comes through here. And the way I've got this set up is I pull from circuit 1, meaning anytime I bring raw ore in, I just need to make sure it's in a box that is outputting to circuit 1. And then I put from the refinery out to circuit 3. And I'll show you the box it goes into in a moment. Now, to ensure it goes into that, I have placed in something the ore refiner doesn't make. In this case, it's just a light dart in each of the storage inventories here to make sure it goes to that box immediately without being left in the machine. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to set up an aluminum run, and we're going to hit craft, and then I have to hit resume because I have it going. And then I'll come over here and I will show you that this is set to accept from circuit 3 and go back into circuit 1, meaning anything that we actually need here to be crafted, it pulls back to that same circuit that I have my fabricators on. I think this is where a lot of people get this wrong. They're trying to take it and set up their vehicle fab to be on circuit 2 or something, and then they find out they need that for the weapons fab. So just keep it silly simple, guys. Make sure that you're putting back to circuit 1 in this particular case, and you'll see it's easy. Now you can see we've got 2 ingots here. We'll come back to that in just a second because aluminum takes a while to craft. Now on the left, I craft duraluminum and above, being duraluminum, plastone, and plastanium. Now, I don't craft plastanium here. I only use the large ore refinery at the guild hall to do that. But you can clearly see that I have this set up to be circuit 1 is where it pulls from, meaning that the jasmium and the aluminum ingots have to be on circuit 1 to come into this machine. And again, I've got the light dart set up here, and I have it to export to circuit 2. So let's just go ahead and resume that one, and then we'll come over here, and you'll be able to see that we go from 249 to 250 here in a second, because duraluminum actually produces pretty darn fast. And this is just a really, really good way to keep your ingots actually organized, in my opinion. You don't have to do this because obviously your fabricators will pull from wherever, but it just kind of is what it is here. You can see, yes, it's absolutely pulling here to the 4 now, where we only had 2 before. But where I think this system really shines is the chemical refiner. The medium chemical refiner is maybe the most useful bench in the game, but the issue is that it produces a whole lot of different items that go into a lot of different things. So I've set this one up to be a little bit different than I did with the ore refineries, because each time that I want to produce something, let's say, silicone blocks, I've got this set up to be on circuit 4. And this is going to end up outputting over here to circuit 4. But when I want to switch over to something like, say, cobalt paste, I have to switch this to circuit 5 to output, because I now have my box for this set to circuit 5. When it comes to my vehicle fuel, which is also a big one, and believe me when I tell you, it doesn't have much storage here, and if you're crafting more than 5, it's going to spit it out if you don't have these circuits set up just all over the place in all kinds of different boxes. So I have this one set up to output for circuit 6, and thank you, Mr. Worm, for eating that ship out there. And that way, anytime I craft one of these, it just automatically goes into this box where I know my vehicle fuel cells are going to be. Now, the only other thing that I really use this for is going to be lubricant. That way I can power my omnidirectionals that I use here. And I don't actually have this, but we have, I'm not going to show you the box, but I have that set up to circuit 7, and there's a box upstairs near to where those are at, set to circuit 7, so it sends it directly to that box. So at a glance, I can always see just how much I have. Now, yes, this takes a little bit of effort, and I do have it written down, but just know that it's worth the effort, because the chemical refinery, it doesn't hold much weight, and things like cobalt paste are freaking heavy. Like, we've only got 700 in here, and it's already 700 volume. You can only get about 1,400 volume in here, almost 1,500 before it's a full box. So it's really a good idea to kind of separate these things. But then also, I do want to stress this, make sure it's going back to circuit 1, because this way it will go to all your different fabricators. And in my opinion, you should never put any of your fabricators pulling from anything but circuit 1. Now let's talk about the spice refinery and how you can keep your spice safe. As good as this circuit system is, it does have one limitation, and that is there is only 8 circuits available. And as I've showed you, I've already used 7 of those. But don't worry, I can still keep my spice completely safe using only 1 circuit. And it's very, very simple. You just put everything to whatever the remaining circuit would be. So circuit 8 is where it pulls from, and it puts back out to circuit 8. And then here I have it accepting in from circuit 8 and going out to circuit 8. So the only thing that has access to this box, because I actually have it set to owner level access, is going to be the spice refinery. It's one big loop. Now at this base, it doesn't really matter. I don't have any benches that I would need in order to craft something using spice, but in a guild hall situation, to prevent accidental usage, this is a really neat trick to use, because now all I have to do, if I say wanted to use this spice, I just have to take it over here to a box that is back on circuit 1, put the spice in, and then I could go with plastanium or whatever it would be and craft whatever it was I wanted. And then when I was done, I can take the spice back out, put it back in the protected box, and we are good. It's really a pretty clever system. So if you guys aren't protecting your spice, it's the most valuable asset you can possibly have in the game. It takes a lot of spice to produce a lot of things, and when something gets used accidentally, it can be a little bit defeating. So I would highly recommend maybe you use this system where it just loops between the two, and then protect that box as an owner only. Again, take it off of circuit 1 so that you can't accidentally craft using your precious spice melange. I've seen multiple videos on this topic that tell you do this, do that, do this, and you'll be good. And they don't really explain to you how you can use it to your advantage. So hopefully I've done that here today. And if you think I have, please like the video and think about subscribing to the channel, because I do have a lot more Dune Awakening content coming up very soon, including the state of the game video, which I think is an important one to make. I'm going to give them a little time. As of time of filming right now, they're going to be doing a patch tonight. and then I'll probably film that video tomorrow, depending on what the patch has come out. But there are some issues with this game, and that's kind of why I've been dragging my feet when it comes to recommending it and really pushing out content, because I don't like to do that just for the sake of views. I mostly do this for fun. And by the way, we are at 1,500 subscribers. I just want to say thank you guys. I really never even thought it would get this far. So thank you all so much for the continued support. And I hope to just keep going in the future. And if you want to be a part of that, like I said, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. That way you know when I put out more content. But until next time, guys, use those circuits well. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.